Time dropped me in the center of Rome, between marble and dust. My paws echoed across the forum floor, stone buildings rising all around. Voices debated destiny like it was already written. It was 44 BC. The air felt heavy with politics. Tension you could taste. Ambition whispered in corners. Fear disguised as public speeches. Rome still called itself a republic, but something deep inside it, something invisible, no longer recognized that name. The city looked eternal, temples of white marble, columns that touched the sky, statues celebrating victories from ages past. But behind all that grandeur, I felt the cracks. Rome controlled Cleopatra's Egypt now, the bloody Gauls, the entire Levant. Territories that demanded quick decisions, concentrated power, iron-fisted rule. Every choice for efficiency meant giving up a piece of the freedom Rome claimed to protect. The Senate was full of men proud of their ancient titles and illustrious families. They talked about timeless laws, sacred tradition, virtue. But their eyes told the real story. Deep fear of becoming irrelevant. When institutions age, they start confusing survival with morality. In that space of political power, virtue had become a weapon against rivals. Julius Caesar dominated conversations even when he wasn't in the room. His name floated everywhere as both threat and hope. He'd won impossible wars. Soldiers worshipped him. The people idolized him. For some senators, he was Rome's savior. For others, he was the end of the republic they loved. I watched senators in the corridors, whispering, trading tense looks, calculating alliances that might save them. It wasn't just politics they were discussing, it was survival. Who still mattered in a world where one man held all the power? Rome was holding its breath, like an athlete before the final push. I could feel it. This wouldn't be a day remembered for speeches in the history books. This would be a day of one simple, swift, irreversible act. Marcus Junius Brutus walked through Rome carrying two legacies that couldn't possibly coexist. One, he was great-grandson of Brutus, the man who'd thrown out the last king, founder of the Republic itself. The other, Caesar had adopted him as a son, protected him, made him his heir. He was the exact point where politics and love collide. For Brutus, the Republic wasn't just a practical system. It was a moral idea. Rome was a principle. Citizens equal before the law, never bowing to one man's will, no matter how brilliant. That was sacred to him. But ideas don't live in abstract spaces. They live in people. And people feel doubt, fear, and gratitude. Brutus genuinely loved Caesar. He owed him everything: his position, his respect, his safety. That contradiction didn't make him weak. It made him deeply human. Cassius came to him slowly, a man bitter, experienced in political games. He never talked about hate or killing. He talked about duty to Rome, saving the Republic, honoring ancestors. The most effective manipulation never looks immoral at first. I watched Brutus read anonymous letters left at his home, messages praising his ancestors, demanding courage, evoking family honor. They didn't ask him to act. They just planted guilt, like seeds. And guilt is one of the easiest things to control. His mind became a battleground. On one side, loyalty to the man who loved him. On the other, loyalty to an idea, the Republic itself. When ideas start mattering more than people, extreme decisions don't just become possible. They become inevitable. The conspirators didn't see themselves as traitors. They saw themselves as protectors, saviors. In those secret late-night meetings, they didn't talk about Caesar the man. They talked about him as a concept, a threat, a danger to Rome's future. They didn't discuss what he'd accomplished in battle. They discussed what he represented. Caesar had been named dictator for life. Unprecedented total power. It was legal, approved by the Senate, But that title carried dangerous weight. The word dictator still burned in Rome's collective memory. The end of freedom, tyranny, the death of equality. Few people noticed the irony. Rome itself had created that absolute power to save itself from crisis. Now, Rome was afraid of what it had created. Systems like to blame ambitious individuals rather than admit their own structural failures. Brutus listened more than he talked. He was reluctant, but he absorbed the arguments like someone searching for justification, not truth. When you want to believe something badly enough, you find plenty of reasons. The conspiracy grew, not from hard facts, but from shared conviction getting stronger. Nobody talked about compromise, reform, or negotiation. Binary thinking was everywhere. Caesar alive means the Republic dies. Caesar dead means the Republic lives. Moral simplification like that is always a warning sign of tragedy coming. The ethical choice was already sealed in the silence inside each conspirator. Now it was just a matter of how. March 15th, 44 BC. The Ides of March. Rome woke up like it was any other day, but history didn't know this moment was coming. The Senate was meeting at the Theater of Pompey. I walked between the columns and felt the air, heavy with something, pressure you could feel before a storm. Caesar had been warned about everything. His wife Calpurnia had nightmares, terrible ones, screaming about blood. Fortune tellers gave him omens. Someone handed him a note. Beware the Ides of March. But men used to absolute power learn early to ignore warnings. What threatens your control feels impossible. He walked in confident, almost defenseless, surrounded by smiling faces, senators who'd praised him just hours before. No bodyguards, no protection. Absolute power creates the illusion that you don't need protection. A dangerous lie. The conspirators moved slowly, spreading out strategically. Each one carried a blade hidden under his white toga. They all needed to participate. Shared success, shared guilt. No single person responsible. Tullius Cimber went first, blade into the ribs. Then Casca. Then Decimus, Metellus, others. 23 stab wounds, chaotic and frenzied. There was no honor in what happened in that moment. Just fear, panic, desperation turned into motion and blood. Caesar saw Brutus. The look in his eyes wasn't just pain from the wounds. It was recognition, the deepest kind of betrayal, from the person he'd trusted most, the one he called son. The words people say Caesar spoke have echoed for centuries, whether he actually said them or not. Et tu, Brute! Even you, Brutus! It's more than just a historical phrase. It's a symbol. It's the moment when absolute power realizes it's lost everything that made it legitimate. Caesar fell near Pompey's statue, his old rival, long dead. Perfect historical irony. Rome's most powerful leader is killed in the center of politics, in front of the memorial to his past enemy. The forum went silent. The conspirators raised their bloody hands and shouted, "Freedom! The Republic is saved!" They believed it. They actually believed they'd just saved Rome with daggers and ideology. But the people didn't react the way they expected. There was no immediate celebration. Just shock, fear, absolute silence. Killing one man doesn't automatically fix a broken political system. Brutus stood motionless next to the body. Victory didn't bring relief, just a heavy emptiness, a kind of vertigo inside. Ideas don't really console you when you see the human cost right in front of you. The Republic hadn't been saved that day. It had been mortally wounded. Rome's political system collapsed almost instantly. The Senate lost control immediately. Delegates fled. Factions formed within hours. Fear spread through the streets like a plague you couldn't see. Mark Antony moved fast. He was Caesar's consul, his close ally. He took control of the body and took control of the story. His funeral speech in the Forum turned quiet mourning into something explosive. collective rage. Antony showed Caesar's torn robe. He read his will out loud. He described every wound. In that moment, liberators fighting for the Republic became elitist assassins who murdered the people's protector. The mob attacked the conspirators' homes. The conspirators fled Rome that night, silent and terrified. Antony and his soldiers controlled everything now. Killing one powerful person doesn't eliminate the forces that supported him. It just releases them. Much more dangerous without one person to contain them. The civil war they tried to prevent was now inevitable. Brutus escaped to Greece, then farther east to Asia. He raised armies, but the coins he used still had Caesar's face on them. Bitter irony in every transaction. In 43 BC, he found out the truth that destroyed everything. Antony and Octavian, Caesar's great-nephew and his legal heir, had formed an alliance against him. Brutus was now Rome's official enemy. 42 BC, Macedon. The Battle of Philippi. Brutus faced armies that were bigger, better supplied. The first attack ended in a stalemate, but the second one was catastrophic. His army was shattered on the field. He watched his army fall apart. He fled to a hill nearby and asked his friend Strato for a sword. "Is virtue?" he asked quietly. "Just a word. Just nothing." He drove the blade into his own chest. He died the way he lived, in conflict, not like a coward running away, like a man who couldn't live in a world that contradicted everything he believed in, everything he'd sacrificed. Cassius was already dead too. Suicide after Philippi. The Republic he'd tried to save died there on that field, not with silent daggers in the dark, but with the noise of war. Octavian took absolute control in the years that followed. In 27 BC, he became Augustus, the first emperor, but he called himself first citizen, a legal fiction that Rome accepted. Killing Caesar didn't prevent tyranny. It just taught the next generation how to do it better. Republic on the surface, armies loyal without question, propaganda, laws that looked legitimate. History doesn't reward good intentions. It rewards people who understand how systems actually work. Brutus's betrayal didn't kill a tyrant. It created a political system that was even more efficient, lasted longer, and went deeper into everything. Ideals that aren't connected to how the world actually works. They don't destroy their enemies. They destroy themselves first. I moved on, carrying another lesson that Rome chose to ignore. Principles without practical action are something empires simply can't afford. If you want to keep traveling with me through the moments that shaped human history, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. History doesn't punish villains. It punishes repeated mistakes. I'll be here to watch it happen with you across every era. See you in the next episode.